Our churches in the Pacific Union, across all of our conferences, have been so involved in Pentecost 2025. And some of the projects that they've taken on are just extraordinary. Hi, I'm Connie Vandeman Jeffrey, and this is All God's People. The stories we've heard have been innovative, exciting, and surprising. Perhaps none more so than a project by Pastor Ron Taylor in the Molokai Church. On the tiny island of Molokai in Hawaii, there are 7,000 residents and 70,000 deer. In this little town, Pastor Taylor, who also serves 2 other churches on Oahu, discovered a special need that he could respond to that would serve the children of their community. And our crew traveled there to capture this story.
When I first got here, I went to a suicide awareness parade. I saw this little sign at the store, and I said, oh, let me go check this out. And then we went to the seminar, suicide awareness seminar, and it broke my heart there. Molokai does have a high rate of suicides, including with children as well and teenagers. 2 girls went up, talked about bullying, about there's a lot of drugs in the school, and they were both crying. We have nowhere to go after school, and people are bothering us and fighting, and it's pretty depressing. They were crying, and I sat there. It was just breaking my heart to see these kids, and I thought, I gotta do something, and I know God has brought me here for a reason. So we started small. One of our members, I think it was Tina, in fact, she mentioned to a homeschool group, hey, you guys want to learn jiu-jitsu? Pastor knows jiu-jitsu. And all the kids got all excited, we want to learn this. So the problem was that I need mats to be able to teach, and mats are pretty costly to get. So Vanessa and I were praying and praying for several months now. We got to get this started. And then I get this phone call, this lady from our former member, actually from the church, she said, I'm going to talk to a nonprofit on the island and see if they can help. And not even about 5 minutes, a call came back and said, you got the mats.
When they initially started to work here on Molokai, the church, the community felt this was a cult. They didn't know or understand what was going on with this church. When he came on, God allowed him to be able to reach the community by doing a judicial class. And it's been amazing. The young people are excited about the program. They're involved in it. They love the pastor, by the way. And that's part of the way that the church has begun to grow, because of the pastor's involvement with the community and the church's involvement with the community.
Pentecost 2025, yes. I was very nervous since this was my very first evangelistic series. So on our flyers, I didn't name it as an evangelistic series. We called it the New Beginnings Bible Seminar. Just come to learn. Everything was focused on Jesus. So this seminar wasn't a prophecy seminar. It was more like, why is there evil in this world? To answer that question, why did Jesus come? And righteousness by faith. You know, we can't be saved by our own works. It's through Jesus, right?
Every day he would have jiu-jitsu from 4 to 5, and then from 5 to 6 we would eat, and then from 6 to 7 was the meetings. You know how they say have faith, and you're like, oh yeah, we have faith, but then it's like, oh, but you guys don't know how Molokai is. You don't know Molokai.
To be honest, I was only expecting a handful of people to come up, maybe 2 or 3.
Well, when he called that altar call for the people to come up, 18 people were baptized that Sabbath. 18.
We met at the state's longest pier, and the community came out. That was totally awesome. I wasn't expecting that. So the 18 people, they brought their families and friends, and not only that, people that they didn't know.
A lot of passerbyers asking, what's going on? What's going on? People are getting baptized. Are you serious? Molokai is a very talking island, so the word spilled out that these people were baptized. So it was awesome to be part of that.
But the most amazing thing was to see the young people and the involvement they really had in the church. God put us in these communities for a reason. And we can't be isolated from the communities that we're in and been implanted in. But when you become involved and reach out to the young people or are part of the community, the church becomes the centerpiece of the community and people want to be a part of it.
One day I was in here after class, there was a child sitting on the bench by herself, and I thought something had happened to her. So I sat next to her, I said, are you okay? And she put a smile on her face. She said, I'm okay. And I said, what's the matter? Why are you by yourself? She goes, I really like it here. And I said, why is that? And she said, because I feel peaceful here. I feel peaceful. Now to hear a little child, a 6-year-old say, I feel peace here, that tells me a lot. That I don't know if something's happening at her home or at school, but she felt safe here. Safe, secure, knowing that she has people that love her, and that's what my wife and I do, just pour into these children, to make sure that they love. And most of all, though, is to know that Jesus loves them.
Thanks so much to Pastor Ron Taylor and the Molokai Church. Thank you to the Hawaii Conference. And thank you for joining us today. For All God's People, I'm Connie Jeffrey.